To security now, the governor of Bayelsa State, Mr. Seriake Dickson, is asking Nigerians to support the nation's military in their fight against insurgency by providing useful information that will lead to the routing of the terrorists in the northeast. Speaking in Abuja after a visit to the Chief of Air Staff over the death of 5 Air Force personnel who lost their lives on the 2nd of January 2019 in a helicopter crash in Damasak, Borno State. Take a listen.
A couple of weeks ago, there was an unfortunate incident involving some Air Force officers who were involved in combat activities in containing the insurgency in the northeast. And the officer who commanded, who was pilot in that operation, the late Flight Lieutenant Perowe Jacob, was from the great state of Bayelsa. And we appreciate his life of dedication and courage, the gallantry that he showed in that and all other military engagements that he was involved in. But because of the way it unfortunately ended, we thought we should come to console the Chief of Air Staff and his officers and men. All of us in this country should stand united in support of our nation's military and security and intelligence services in their efforts to protect the integrity, territorial integrity, and in the great work they are doing to keep our country safe.
Men and officers of the Nigerian Army in Kaduna State today held burial rites for 13 fallen soldiers and an officer who died during an onslaught against Boko Haram insurgents in Borno State in December last year. The ceremony, which held at the Commonwealth Cemetery in the Kaduna metropolis, also had in attendance some family members of the fallen soldiers. Some of the soldiers were killed in different attacks in Baga and Gudumbali.
The ambulance arrives bringing bodies of the slain soldiers to their final resting place. The silence at the graveyard of the Commonwealth Cemetery says it all. One after the other, their bodies are brought in and accorded the traditional military rites. Army authorities say the fallen soldiers have paid the supreme price of protecting their fatherland from both internal and external aggression. They promised that their families will not suffer.
We are gathered here not only to mourn, but also to celebrate their lives. These men here gave the supreme sacrifice for the greater quest of national defense and preservation of Nigerian people. I must state that all this we know in our grief is nothing compared to what their loved ones are going through.
Their friends and relatives could not hold back their tears as they bid farewell to their loved ones and breadwinners.
I don't have anything to say more because it's not easy. I did not expect it. This person spoke to me on 24 and 23 night. It didn't happen unexpected. But it's only God that knows the best.
Interfaith funeral prayers are offered, and then the 21 volleys of shots in line with the military tradition. As the 13 soldiers and officers are committed to Mother Earth, the Army seizes the moment to call for more prayers and support for gallant officers in the theater of war who are paying the price to protect the country's territorial boundaries and its people.
The Enugu State government, they have reiterated their commitment towards ensuring that it becomes a choice destination, and this is for those seeking medical attention. The government made this known while taking delivery of equipment set to be valued at over 20 million from philanthropists for use at the Poly General Hospital, which was upgraded last year.
Polyclinic, as it is popularly called, is one of the oldest hospitals in Enugu State, upgraded to a general hospital in September 2018. This clinic is believed to have gained its popularity from safe delivery of newborns and subsidized Medicare, a trend that has continued to attract a huge number of pregnant women, despite the limited seating, prompting the renovation of the old clinic and construction of a new building.
If you look here, you can see the new building. Before, it wasn't like this. It was an old rickety building that is here. We've been managing, no equipment, we don't have anything, we don't have beds. But today, it's a new dawn for us.
To complement the government's gesture, the hospital management received equipment from a philanthropist who believes the state government is passing a message that the well-being of the people is a priority.
This is very vital to the state and to the East people. So my intention of bringing this is just to help the state government to achieve every plan they have for their health sector.
The state government is overwhelmed by this show of support, promising that patients who are the ultimate beneficiaries will receive good service delivery, as only trained personnel will handle the equipment.
Med Surgical is a landmark establishment, so they are already in the position to assist us with the necessary parts. And besides, it's a secondary healthcare facility, so the equipment is not rocket science that will be overwhelmed tomorrow with the maintenance. So we are sure to maintain them and get good service from them.
Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, who is seeking re-election for another term in office, is promising Enugu citizens that he will continue to focus on policies that will prioritize their overall welfare. Nkiruka Ajogu, Channels Television News.
The International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD, has promised to continue supporting rice and cassava processors in Niger State to enable them develop the capacity to meet the market demands. According to the organization, they're saying the second phase of its intervention program has been approved, and that means there is no end yet to the program. Our correspondent, Emperor Simon, reports.
The first port of call for the IFAD regional director on this team is this privately owned rice mill in Bidda, which enjoys the support of the organization. The mill has a capacity of producing about 18,000 metric tons of rice annually, with farmers in the area as major suppliers of the paddy.
This is a very impressive partnership between the producers, the private sector and the government. Clearly there are a lot of synergies that are helping to meet the market demands and improve the food security of the population. I've been very impressed by the way all the different actors are working in good synergy, and I think the combined investments of the private sector and the government are giving very good results.
Next, the team inspects a processing center owned by a women's cooperative society, which is supported financially by IFAD. The women are happy about the progress they have been able to make.
Before, they don't know us, but now, every day money we enter our account, they need Okwegbo rice. IFAD gave us NAFDAC number, they gave us award. We are the best processor in Niger State now.
For the IFAD country director Nadine Bosa, the impact of IFAD is the fact that it has contributed to the reduction of poverty and unemployment.
We are seeing the impact on the life of the people, and our first target is really to invest of people so that we leave this subsistence agriculture, we leave this poverty, and we are dealing with agri-entrepreneur, with business women and businessmen in agriculture, and we are seeing that.
In rice production and processing in Niger State, IFAD has been able to invest over 600 million naira in the last 6 years. The state government had contributed 150 million naira in the last 6 years. So this is an huge investment, and we can see that Niger State is becoming a state where in processing activities has also picked up, not only the production aspect.
The team had earlier paid similar visit to local Goma in Wushishi local government area, where IFAD has established a cassava processing center. The center, which has engaged more than 100 women and youths, is into gari production and other byproducts of cassava, which are sought for within and outside the state. Emperor Simon, Channels Television News.
And business news has it that a multi-billion-dollar project is about to take off. Here's Emana Amawe with that and more.
You First. First Bank.
Hello and welcome to Business News. There are strong indications that the Ibom Deep Sea Port in Akwa Ibom State will commence full operations in 2021. The chairperson, Technical Committee of the establishment of Ibom Deep Sea Port, Mrs. Mfon Usoro, gave the assurance in Uyo, the Akwa Ibom State capital, while speaking to Channels Television on the sidelines of a two-day high-level stakeholders retreat on public-private partnerships.
I would say it's already come out of the pipeline, to the extent that a preferred bidder has emerged from the procurement process that we started Q3 of 2017. And the preferred bidder is an internationally well-renowned, experienced port operators and terminal operators. That is the Bolloré Group. And the Bolloré plus Power China came together to form a consortium. So we kind of have covered the market because they have a lot of experience in Africa and they run a lot of ports. So the goal of actually establishing a hub port is getting to reality. Now, with the procurement having brought up the preferred bidder, it is hoped that by 2021, the port will be operational.
A report by Reuters suggests that the number of unsold Nigerian cargoes has been dropping steadily to about or less than 12 this week. Traders say Northwest European refiners have been buying more Nigerian crude as the drop in Iranian exports following U.S. sanctions has tightened supply in the Mediterranean. Nigeria's largest crude oil grade, Kwaibo, traded at a premium of $1.75 to the dated Brent this week, and that's the highest since September last year. Oil prices fell nearly 2% as investors remained concerned about a global economic slowdown following the recent release of economic data this week. Brent crude futures ended Friday's session higher, up by 1.9% to $60.53, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures also dropped to 1.90% to about $51.59 per barrel. However, both benchmarks posted strong gains for the second week, with the WTI rising about 7.5% and Brent up 6%, driven by optimism for the outcome of trade talks between the United States and China. And Nigeria's stock market sustains positive performance for the second consecutive day this week, ending today's session higher by some percentage margins. Let's join Edidiong Iwang for a summary of the day's trading.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. The equities market sustained the recovery recorded in Thursday's session to end the week up by 1.06% on more bargain hunting for lower price stocks by short-term investors. The positive sentiment in today's session was driven mostly by bellwether components of the industrial goods and banking sectors, while Dangote Cement added more value to the equities capitalization as the share price rose by 3.21%. However, volume turnover of shares traded was lower by more than 60% compared to the previous sessions at 206.3 million units in over 3,500 transactions. Diamond Bank, UBA Bank and Zenith Banks are the major contributors on the activity chart. And that's the Stock Market Report. I'm Edidiong Iwang.
Investors' concern over the global economy also took its toll on some of the world's leading stock markets at the end of today's trading session. Let's see some of the snapshots of the closing numbers. And that's it on Business News Tonight. I'm Emana Amawe. It's back to Millicent for the rest of the news at 10.
You First. First Bank.
Thank you, Emana. Still ahead on the news at 10, Nigeria's Lobby Stars begin their CAF Champions League campaign with a hard-fought 2-1 victory over South African champions Mamelodi Sundowns. That's in sports news. Please stay with us.